All right, so these are probably the craziest pair of Nike sneakers that I've ever seen in person and tried on feet. And I'm not just saying that, like literally these are absolutely insane. And you know, I've tried on a lot of pairs of Nikes through my old age, but yeah, these are by far some of the craziest. So let's go ahead and get into the video on this pair right here, which is provided by Kicks World. And I'll get into Kicks World in just a second for those that haven't used their service before. Inside their bag, you have some Rejuvenator cleaning wipes and some stickers and some information about what the service for Kicks World is. If you guys want to save 30% off your first month at Kicks World, you guys can do so. Check the link in the description and use my code, and it will take you over to their site and you can get 30% off of your first month. So this shoe is actually a primary reason why a subscription service would be dope, because if you got this shoe and you didn't like what you saw, you're not out the $450 that this would have cost you at retail, or $700 or $800 on the open market right now, because this is it's just the craziest shoe. So it's a black Nike box, and it says this is the Nike Zoom MMW 4. It's called the Zoom 004 X MMW stone colorway on Nike's website. And yikes, like look at this thing, dude. First of all, this is the size of the foot. This is the size of the shoe. So by far, this is the longest shoe that I've ever tried on in my entire life. Like if you're embarrassed by small feet, like buy these, and then people will think you have ginormous feet, because they're absolutely massive. The overall design is crazy looking though. Once you get them in hand and you look at them and you pull this out, you could see the knit. It's like a wide gauge knit, but it's like they went in two different crazy directions on the shoe. The upper looks like it's really breathable. It has a lot of fused material for the upper, and it looks like a really intricate design made for like a running shoe. Very similar to something like this, which is the Zoom Next Percent Alpha Fly. I mean, the uppers look fairly similar because it is kind of themed after and inspired by this shoe, which I'll get into in a second. But that's kind of where they end things. Like obviously you still have the Zoom stacks in the front, similar to this shoe, but the Zoom stacks in the front are not the craziest part. You have this crazy big toe section here that sticks out like a weird square blocky horn, and then this really big squishy springy it looks like a snowmobile or something like that on the back. It's just insane. And how it folds over like a tank tread. When you see it in pictures, you're like, oh, that looks crazy. It looks kind of cool. It's super aggressive, which I like. But when you get them in hand, you're like, wow, that's like, no, it's like super aggressive. Like it's next level aggressive in hand and on feet. This is the fun part. Let's weigh this and see how heavy these are, because this is a brick. So 1 pound, 2 ounces is the total weight of one of these shoes. So it's like a workout for your feet, man. These like 2 pounds, 4 ounces for these on your feet for wearing 2 of them. I think that on paper, in pictures, this shoe looks way doper than in hand. And then especially when I put them on feet, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like something feels really off here. And so it's part of the reason why, again, Kicks World, the subscription service that I mentioned that sent me these, is actually pretty awesome, because I can get these for a month and then realize like, cool, I'll wear these a couple times and I can totally send them back and get something else the next month. Because this is a shoe that I would not wear very often, if at all. After getting them, it's just not something I'm feeling at all. So it's nice to be able to mix it up and be able to send these back. But anyway, let's get into actual details about the shoe from the Nike site. It says this is a Zoom 004 X MMW. So MMW stands for somebody, and let's dive into that. Through work with Givenchy and his own brand, Alyx, creative director Matthew M. Williams has earned a reputation for pushing fashion into new spaces. His ethos is simple: combine the influence of his own experiences in New York and California with recent technological breakthroughs previously unveiled at Nike's 2020 Future Sport Forum. The Nike Zoom 004 X MMW speaks to Nike's extensive history of breakthrough innovations by putting a modern twist to the aesthetics of a performance runner from the early aughts. These are pretty fancy words. Backed by data insight, this silhouette effortlessly blends transformative tech with urban style. A lightweight, high-tenacity polyester knit upper provides breathable, dynamic structure that is still tough enough for everyday wear. Below, a Zoom bag combines with a mechanical cushion plate to promote heel cushioning and forward propulsion. Inspired by the morphing properties of metals, the shoe's exterior showcases fluid lines and gleaming textures with subtle color shades, cementing the look's multi-dimensional feel. So it says his name all over the place. MMW here, Matthew M. Williams, MMW on the outsole, MMW on the back, on the inside. The guy definitely wants it to know that it's his shoe, which should get credit for, because this is, again, just such a wild and crazy shoe. If they had a little bit more dumbed down version that's a little bit less aggressive, I mean, this is just too long for my foot. It wasn't working. I think that this shoe would be much cooler, and it looks really cool. It's just not something I can feel like I can pull off. I guess maybe it's just the high fashion designer dude's name attached to it makes me feel a little bit skittish, like I'm probably not the guy for these. But some of the things I really like, the midsole, I think that the overall structure and design of the midsole looks really cool, how it has the crazy lines all over the place. I think that Nike should take cues on that. Honestly, Nike should be doing the Zoom X like that. Like I mentioned this in a previous video, but I'll mention it again here. This is a great shoe. Like, this is the Invincible Run from Nike. Features full-length Zoom X in the midsole, but they use that same sort of like textured look to it as they do with Nike React. So the average consumer is not going to know that this is better than the Nike React runners that they have, like the Infinity React. Or it's not better, it's lighter, it's more squishy, and it's a different material. If they would have done something like this and made some crazy lines like this in the Zoom X, it would have looked a lot different, and people would go, whoa, what are those? Like, it would have had the wow factor that the shoe should have had, and in my opinion, people are missing out on it. The same thing with this shoe right here. They didn't really have anything crazy. They have some lines in the midsole, but I love the concept of what they did with this one instead. I find it really weird that they're comparing both of these shoes together. Obviously, they do have the Tinsel fibers in the front of the Zoom Air, and then they do have a carbon fiber plate in this one, supposedly. I don't understand necessarily why they're doing that. It doesn't actually feel like it's bringing you forward too crazy, which is odd, because it looks like, especially when you push down in here, looks like you'd be going flying forward. But I think just the overall size of the volume of the midsole, it just felt weird on feet. It didn't feel like comfortable, if you will. It kind of gives you like a Nike Shock sort of design, or like what they could have done with Nike Shocks back in the day, just with a crazy, like, I don't know, the little clampy sort of motion. But it's a really cool, innovative look. It's by far, again, the craziest look ever. And then it's really an interesting choice to go back to basics with the waffle outsole, again, making it kind of look futuristic retro because of that. But then it's like really functional too. Like, they use this really breathable polyester upper, like they said, which I guess your feet's going to need, because these things are so heavy. Your feet are going to be sweaty when you're walking around in these things, so you definitely need the extra ventilation. I feel awkward about these shoes because I feel like I'm probably the wrong person to appreciate what they were creating here, but I'm also the person that loves tech and then futuristic retro sort of vibes on sneakers. I love that look. And this is one that I saw on paper, and I go, you know, this is amazing. I have to see these shoes. It was on my hit list, which is why I actually got these sent to me, is because I wanted to see how they were. But then when I just put them on, and like, you look down and you see the weird rubberized toe section, and it looks like you have a weird block on the end. I'm not used to having something other than a rounded end on a shoe. I felt like elfish to me because of it, but that's just me being simple-minded about it, I guess. Also, the back section of the shoe was crazy, but it just, again, stuck out too far. So in my opinion, crazy design, absolutely craziest shoe I've ever tried on. Love what they did, definitely not for me. It's just one of those things where I can look at the shoe and go, cool, totally appreciate what they did. Does some of it make sense to me? No, but again, simple-minded me, it's just not going to make sense to me. Price point of these are crazy high too. I think $450 was retail, and then aftermarket is almost double that. But you know, they did their thing, and they did something completely different. And all in all, I'm happy that I got a pair to check out and try on. It was definitely an experience worth doing that, and one that will definitely be memorable. Out of all the shoes that I have in the room, which there's a lot on both sides of the walls, these are definitely the most unique in my opinion. So MMW, you get the W on that one. But what do you guys think about these crazy shoes? Has anybody ever bought these? Do you wear them? If you did buy them, please leave a comment and let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on Instagram or Twitter if you guys have a pair of you wearing these, and let me see what you guys are rocking with, because I'm just like, I don't know, man. This is like out of my lane, but super crazy. And I appreciate what they did with it, because it's just, again, so wild. But thanks again, Kicks World, for sponsoring the video. If you guys want to save 30% off of Kicks World subscription service, again, use my code in the description of the video, and it'll save you that 30% off. Thank you again for watching, though. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day out there. Subscribe again if you're new to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you guys back here. All right, peace, guys.